Good day, learners. I go by the name of Jojela and my surname is Mochel. Today I'm going to teach you the subject of social sciences for the grade 5 learners. The target skills or the subject focus area for our today's topic is settlement. Settlement. I would like to ask learners what is a settlement on their own words and then explain it to me. But before we go there, I would like to explain what is expected from you at the end of this lesson. Firstly, learners are required to define what is a settlement, and then secondly, learners are also required to identify those types of settlement. Settlement. And then thirdly, learners are required to explain the different settlement, which is urban and rural areas. And then fourthly, learners are also required to discuss the negative impact and the positive impact of this settlement. The learners will also be required to describe a common settlement patterns, which is a linear, dispersed, and nucleated settlement. And then also learners are also required to provide the characteristics of settlement. And lastly, all learners are required to compare the difference between those two settlements, which is rural and urban settlement. Okay, since I've already stated our objectives for our today's focus area, I would like to ask my learners, what is a settlement on their own words? Remember guys, there is no wrong answer, there is no right answer. Each and everyone is required to engage in this topic. Okay, so guys, what is a settlement? Remember, like I said, there is no correct answer, there is no wrong answer. Everyone is required to engage. So yeah.
Can I answer?
Oh yes.
Isn't settlements about where people live?
All right, correct.
I
Yes.
think settlement, isn't it like houses where they built their homes?
Okay, your answer is also correct. All right guys, I really appreciate your cooperation. Okay guys, since you have already answered my question, your answers are correct. A settlement, it is a place where people live, from a small villages to a large cities. So this word from a small village simply means rural areas. So from the word large cities, it simply means urban areas. I hope now you do get the difference between these two. I mean, you do understand what is a settlement. Now we go to the next question, which is, what are those types of settlement that you know? I want you guys to give me maybe the settlements that you know, so that we can write them down and delve deeper into what are they. Okay guys, since we have already explained what is a settlement and we have already explained what is a settlement, now we want those types of settlement. Anyone who can tell me those types of settlement? Oh yes, Mike.
Rural and urban settlement.
Rural and urban settlement, correct. A round of the applause. Okay. Exactly guys, your answers are correct. We do have a rural area, and we also have urban areas or settlement. So now we will be explaining what are the rural areas and what is a urban. Okay guys, since we have already stated these two types of settlement, which is rural and urbanization. Firstly, what is a rural settlement? A rural settlement, it is the place that is outside the countryside. This means that this place is outside the city or towns. And then these places are usually or often have a small population, and then this place of rural areas, it also have an open land. Remember, people who live in rural areas, they like farming, they like hunting. So since there is an open land, this land they can use it to farm and also to hunt in order to feed their families. And then lastly, remember guys, there is a fewer buildings and service compared to urbanization. I mean, like, not urbanization, sorry. I mean urban areas. Okay, like, since we have already stated that in rural areas there is a small population, meaning there is a small amount of people. There is an open land for the people who live in rural areas to farm, to engage in their farming activities. Okay, there is no tall buildings like urban areas. I like urbanization, guys, sorry. Urban areas, meaning there is a fewer buildings and services. What services do I refer to? I'm talking about the services such as schools, hospitals, shops and malls and so forth. Okay, that's what it is. Now let's talk about urbanization. Well, not urbanization, guys, I mean urban settlement. An urban settlement. What is an urban settlement? An urban settlement, it is the place where people live close together in a developed area. What do we mean by the developed area? Meaning we're talking about the place where the economic activities take place, where money generates. So in urban areas, people live close together, such as cities and towns. What things that we usually or often find in rural areas? Which is the opposite of rural areas? What things do we get there? Firstly, you will find tall buildings. Secondly, access to transportation. You will also have access to transportation, since there is many roads and vehicles along the way when you pass when you go everywhere, wherever you are going. You will find that we have many roads and we also have many vehicles. Also, offices and businesses are there, meaning many people work in urban areas. And there is a large population, meaning there is a large amount of people who live in urban areas compared to rural areas. Yes. Okay, guys, like as we have already explained what is a rural area, I have already demonstrated for you that the picture of a rural area. Like as I said, guys, you can see there is an open land. There is an open land for farming. There is a fewer buildings. As we can see that those buildings are far apart from each other. They are not like dispersed. They are mutilated. You understand? So I mean, like, they are not mutilated. They are dispersed. They are apart from each other. Sorry. And then there is a fewer buildings. As you can see there, we don't have many buildings. There is you can see there is a building here, there is a building right there. Like, your neighbors is not just like next to you, no. Your neighbor is somewhere 2 centimeters away. Okay, so guys, we have already stated, you can see that the services, there is a lack of services there. There is a lack of services. We can even see the road transport infrastructure is not okay. And then we will also explain the urban areas, and then I will also show you the picture of urban areas, since I've already showed you the picture of rural areas. Since we have already explained and showed the picture of rural areas, now we will be demonstrating the pictures of urban settlement, which is an urban settlement, that particular place whereby many people they live close together in a developed area. Like as you can see there on the picture, you can see that area is developed. The economic activities take place, and there is tall buildings. And then there is also many roads, as you can see there on the picture, many roads. And there is many roads and vehicles as well. Meaning in urban settlement you will access transportation easily than in rural areas. And then guys, if you can check that picture once again, you will find that those buildings have offices and what you call it, businesses. Meaning many people work in urban settlement. They generate income from urban settlement. So now, since we have already done demonstrating everything about the settlement and explanation and identification as well, now we will discuss its advantages. Now let's first start with the advantages of a settlement. What are those advantages of settlement? Like we said, there is a better opportunity of jobs, meaning many people can find jobs at the settlement, at the urban settlement. And then there is also there is also a good service. Since in urban settlement we find many schools, we find many hospitals and transportation and things like that. Those are one of the advantages of urban settlement. And then also let's come up with the disadvantages of urban settlement. What are those disadvantages of urban settlement? Remember guys, since in urban settlement there is a large population, like the large amount of people who live in there, there is what you call it, it's a traffic pollution. It's a traffic pollution. You will find traffic pollution in urban settlement. Now we are talking about the disadvantages of urban settlement. We said there is a better job opportunities, like we said, and then there is a traffic pollution. A pollution. Since in urban settlement there is many people, vehicles and machines as well. These things, all of them, they make a traffic pollution, which is one of the negative impact of urban settlement. Okay guys, since we have already discussed the disadvantages and the advantages of rural urban areas, now we are going to talk about the advantages of rural areas. What are those advantages? Firstly, is that there is a less stressful environment. Why? Because the place is quiet and peaceful. Secondly, there is no traffic. There is no traffic on the roads. On the roads, since the transport infrastructure is not in the good conditions. And then thirdly, many people produce. Many people produce their own food, produce their own food, such as vegetables and fruits, because they are far away from large towns, they are far away from cities. And yeah, okay guys, since we have already talked about the advantages of rural areas, now we are talking about the disadvantage or the negative impact of rural areas. What are those negative impacts? Firstly, access to transportation. Transportation is one of the most main problem in rural area. Why? Because there's a poor road conditions due to lack of investment in rural transport infrastructure. And then secondly, lack of education. Lack of education. Why lack of education, guys? Because there is fewer schools and qualified teachers to disseminate the content effectively for learners in rural areas. And all these things negatively affect how the development of people who live in rural areas, it affects them negatively. So we will go and describe the types of common settlement patterns. What are those types of common settlement patterns? Firstly, we have what we call a linear settlement. And then secondly, we have a dispersed settlement, and thirdly, which is the last one but not least, which is nucleated settlement. Okay, since we have already described the three common patterns of settlement, now a dispersed settlement. Remember guys, a dispersed settlement, it is a settlement that is apart from each other. Meaning when we are talking about the dispersed settlement, we are basically referring to rural area or settlement. And then for a nucleated settlement, for this one, guys, it is whereby buildings are clustered together. They are at the center of the point. In this way, here we are referring to urban area or settlement. Now here's the last one, which is a linear settlement. In a linear settlement, these types of settlement, you will see it to follow the sequence. What do I mean when I say they follow the sequence? You will find the houses near the river. They follow the pattern of the river from where it comes from to where it goes. So those are the types of common settlement pattern. Okay guys, since I've already disseminated our content of settlement, here is an activity that you can do on your own in order to test your understanding. Even if you didn't understand the content of it, you can start the video in order to grasp all information that is necessary for you to know. And then guys, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe in order for more related videos. Thank you very much.